Bean row. Kid you not. Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Wherever it is that you are, whatever time this reaches you, it's a morning here while I'm making this video. So I've decided to scrap a bunch of video that I have. It's just so far gone. We're like a month behind. And what I'll do is I will just give you a garden tour. I'll show you one of the storms that rolled through. It was absolutely beautiful. A little bit scary. I'm not a storm person. So let's take you to the garden first. This is the main garden that I'm going to take you to. The other garden is a tragic, not even worthwhile mess. So I don't know if we'll have anything come out of that one. Maybe some peas, maybe some squash. But once I get it cleaned up, I will show it to you. Okay, so this first row is our onion and potato row. It has been weeded, I promise. I still have to put some bedding and compost down on top of here to suppress these edge weeds, but you should have seen it a couple days ago. And these are just some spring onions that were in a food reclamation box that we got, and unfortunately, nothing here will eat them, so I planted them to see if they would turn into onions, and if not, it's no real waste anyway. So that's the potato one. Let's take a wander. This is a blank spot. I'm going to throw something in here. I've just got to get something started. So these are some of the later potatoes to come up, but they're doing okay. This is a random weed. I feel like it might be a sunflower, so I'm just letting it grow. I don't really care. I'll put it up before it drops seed if it's not what I think it is. And then we come over to another row of potatoes. Some in the back didn't take, so I'll plant something in there, in those blank spaces. I had planned to hill the potatoes this year. Oh, there's a lamb's quarter. A couple actually. I missed them. We had planned to hill the potatoes this year, but we did not get around to it. And so what I'll do towards the end of the season is I will come in and cut off the tops of the, I'll just whack off the tops of the potatoes so that they put all their energy down into roots. I'm going to try that on half of them because the best potato crop I ever had was when my goats got into my garden and just tore my potato plants right down to the dirt. And it was an awesome potato crop. So the next row is peas. And if you look, we've got flowers starting to come in. Oh, I can't get it to zoom. There we go. We've got some flowers starting. These lamb's quarters just hard to see sometimes. Once you've been picking lamb quarters out for a week, it's hard to notice. Oh, there's a really good one. A couple of really nice flowers there. We're going to have our first peas. And all I've done to get these going upright is we have some rebar pounded in with baler time, which we have way more than enough of. And there is a sunflower volunteer that I left there. There's some more flowers. And what I'm going to do is in these blank spots, I'm going to come in and pop down more seed. We got to get a couple more stakes of rebar so that we can get these up. Buckwheat. And then that row will be complete and reseeded. There's some really nice carrots in this pepper row actually, but my peppers are really struggling. They are really small. They're barely as high as my hand. So I've kind of given up on them. I won't try to grow these again until I have a big greenhouse. The first year that we had our greenhouse, I grew habaneros and they grew like wildfire. So I'll just leave them where they are and try and keep them weeded. I'm having big problems on this row, as you'll see, because we have grass that I cannot get out of here, and it doesn't peel up, and even if you get a hold of the root and pull the root up, and it'll be like 4 feet, it doesn't seem to help. So this row, as well as a couple other rows, are going to be covered with what I would just term grain bag plastic. And I'm gonna do it after all the crop is out. I'll lay it down after I soak this all, and we'll try and see if we can kill out all the grass. You can kind of see where that grass sits. It's a big patch right there, and I've been struggling with it for years. So this is tomato row numero uno. This stake broke, so I have to get that one tied up. And a couple of these don't have stakes. I'm getting hubby to pick up some stakes today. We went into the city, thought they'd be cheaper there. And of course couldn't find any. There's a couple carrots poking around in here. I didn't like what I tried this year. I tried where you sprinkle down the seeds, soak it, and lay wood on top. That didn't work for me. The germination was no good. It actually didn't germinate until a couple weeks after I took it off, and they had been on for 3 weeks. So yeah, but they are starting to get flowers, and they're big enough where I'm leaving the flowers now. They just need to be propped up. So all these in the back will be crim, and I love those. This is one of the ones that was curly, and it's still sort of curly, kind of not really, but it is growing, so it's doing okay. This one is struggling really badly. Lost a few to poor weeding practices, i.e. me pulling them up. And somewhere in this row starts the crim, somewhere, and then some of the stuff in this row is also black cherry. So these are going to be black cherry on this side, plums on this side. So I'll take you down, show you these. These are doing really well. These are already at above knee height, so they're doing beautifully. Some more carrots in there, a couple volunteer sunflower, lots of amaranth coming back up. Knock it off! Rookie! Rookie! Idiot. There's another patch of green right here, of grass. I'm gonna have to try and get that out. Then these will be some more plums. This is another curly plant right here. You can see, but the leaves coming in are looking normal. So I don't know, it wasn't blight. I didn't lose anything to blight. Some more nice ones. Oh look, black tomato. This is the earliest I've had a tomato that size. Here's another one. It's still curling. So I don't know, it's growing. This one for the longest time was just these two leaves, big leaves laying on the ground. And I didn't think it was going to grow, but it sent up a sucker right there. I don't know if you can see. So I'll come in and clip this off and start getting these trimmed, but I've got to leave a bit more leaves because they're all curled. So if I want it to try and grow, I've got to leave some more leaves so it gets the sunlight it needs. Some of these carrots are looking really nice. Planted 3 varieties this year: Bolero, which is orange, white satin, which is white, and purple dragon, which is, oh no, it wasn't purple dragon, it was called purple haze. Any pot smokers out there can giggle about that. So yes, I am really happy with my tomatoes this year. Like I'm so surprised at how well they've done. And these, you cannot even tell. Look at this. See the size? They are the same size. And these are those tiny little tomatoes that I didn't think were gonna live. And they're the same size as everything else. It's pretty fascinating. So they're doing really well. I can really easily tell which are which apart. So these are Norlands. Those are what Norlands look like. And then you get to these spindly, piddly things. And these are the grays. Now I've gone through and plucked all of the flowers off, but I can't even begin to tell you the sheer amount of, like, you can kind of see here. I just plucked these off the other day. There's a flower head. There's a flower head. There's another flower head. And like each of these flower heads when they're fully grown has 8 or 9 flowers on them. Like, and I'm gonna start letting these produce now because they're getting big enough and they'll be staked. But it is insane the amount of, look at this one here. I just plucked these off 2 days ago. It is absolutely insane the amount of flowers that these guys are producing in little nodes. You can't even see that because it's not going to zoom in. There's another one there. And there's another one there. Like, for such little plants. Here's another one. All these got plucked off yesterday. So, in this, there is a group here. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This node right here has 12 flowers. This little tiny thing here, it's another node of flowers, and there's already 6 that I can see. This has 8, 9, 10. Like, this has probably 12, at least 10. And then there's more coming here. Like, these plants, as piddly and as unremarkable as they look, I think are going to be insane producers. And my curly parsley is so gorgeous. I'm going to have to start pulling it and drying it. It's just amazing. And my son, my daughter hates this stuff, but my son will eat an entire plant. And so will I. It's so good. So yeah, there's some of the grays. I will definitely be trying them again next year. Alright, here's another new thing. There's another volunteer. This is our garlic forest. This is the first year garlic has ever grown for me. And this was kind of, I've tried it a couple years and it's just never come up. And I've always bought the seed ones that you buy, and they're specifically in a bag that says seed garlic. And this year I went out and I bought a 1 pound bag of cheap ass Walmart stuff. And I was just like, whatever. I threw them in the ground. They weren't sprouting. I did weed this, I promise, but this was the first row I started on weeding. And I leave my chickweed. I love chickweed. And I find that it is a weed suppressant when it gets going. Anyway, and none of it was sprouting. None of it had roots. And I thought, well, the worst thing that happens is nothing, and I'm in the same spot I always am. So, I planted them all, broke them all up. Probably planted, I don't know, 100 heads. Or 100 nodes or whatever, and bulbs. And, they're growing. So I'm definitely going to try that again. And then, this pitiful mess, it did have a row cover on it that we made. And this is a cheap way to do row hoops. All this is just, I think 1 inch poly pipe. Maybe 3/4 inch. I don't know, 1/2 inch. It is poly pipe that will fit around they're on too hard, but there is just a piece of rebar slammed into the ground right here. And he slipped this over and pushed it right down into the ground. And boom, instant hoops. and you don't have to pay 15 bucks a pop. But something has been eating my beets all spring, so I'm behind on beets, but it's not touching my beets anymore. So I have to get in here and pick out all these piddly things without pulling out the beets, which is why I haven't touched anything yet. See, there's a beet hiding in there. But a duck got in here somehow. Oh, I know how. The dogs decided to bury a piece of meat in the end here and ripped Rocky out. Get out of my garden! Oh, you jerk! Ripped a hole in it in the back here, and I had it all covered up. And a duck went in there, freaked out because it didn't know how to get back out, and just tore right through the side of it. I was so upset. And then in here, I have planted a few extra beans that I got mailed to me. We'll see if they have enough time to produce anything, but my other beans are really looking pitiful, so I got some extra beans, and this is a new variety from Salt Spring Seeds in BC on the coast, and it's called Blooming Prairie, and it just, I don't know, looked pretty, and the beans themselves are pretty, and I mean, I don't know, pretty matters, right? So I got them. Usually I grow Tanya's Pink Pod, which is also from Salt Spring Seeds, and I absolutely love that variety. I have been growing it now for 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, a while, and they have always done so well here, so well. But I think my seed was old, like I was using 2-year-old seed. Last year I just completely failed miserably at collecting seed and didn't have any extras, and usually I do. So I planted what I had left, and the dog dug up some, and the guineas dug up some, and some didn't germinate. And I will quickly show you the ones that did. They are a pitiful mess. This whole garden is a pitiful mess. I wasn't going to show it to you. I'm walking over here now. Let's do it. Bean row. Kid you not. There are beans in here, and this weed pressure isn't helping. This is the one I'm going to work on next, and I'll probably work on it tomorrow. I'm not going to have time today. I've got a bunch of canning to do, a couple chickens to butcher after I start or make this, and then yeah. So there's a couple in here. There's one there. There's two there. There's one there. One there. There. Oh, there's another one that's surprisingly coming up over here. So, and those have been in the ground for like a month and a half, and they're not doing very well. And then this is another hoop row, but this row just got destroyed by wind. Just absolutely decimated by wind, and nothing came up in here that was supposed to. The kale that I had in here just got killed by the wind. Then I replanted kale, and none of it came up. This could possibly, no, that's not kale. I don't know what that is. In here. There is a couple, if I can find them. Yeah, there's some right here. This is Swiss chard. I don't remember planting those. I must have, they're in a row. But there is a couple chard that have come up, and this might, no, again. I don't think that's a kale. We'll leave it for a bit. I'll know. We have a lot of brassicas that volunteer around here, just blown in, brought in from the birds. Most of it's canola. That is not canola. It doesn't feel right. Another Swiss chard. If you guys have any recipes for an I don't eat Swiss chard person, post them below. Here's some more of the spring onions I got volunteered. This is the only bit of lettuce that has come up. Cut and come again, and I've planted a ton of lettuce this year. I just think that the soil wasn't composted enough, and really sporadic germination, wind, all of it, couples together. This is my lone surviving dinosaur kale plant. And before my battery dies, there's some peas. Here's my squash. Here's some more squash. And all my melons got killed by the wind, so that was awesome. And we will catch you up a bit more once I charge the battery. What you may or may not know about me, I am super horrified of storms. First of all, thunderstorms, tornado warnings or watches, they freak me right out. The other thing that you might not know is I spent nearly a decade of my life in the southeastern United States, which is notorious for tornadoes and horrific storms, and I lived in Georgia when 9 tornadoes touched down on the speedway that was there. It stuck with me, and so when I moved back to Canada when I was I guess late teens, I was really glad to be on the west coast where all it did was rain and maybe have like some sheet lightning and a thunderstorm. And then a couple years later, on a whim, I would end up moving to Saskatchewan, right back into storm, basically Canada's tornado alley. And so we're back. But there is something beautiful and miraculous about prairie storms. They call Saskatchewan the land of the living skies for a reason. And as you can see, the storms are just beautiful. Dangerous sometimes, but beautiful. This one actually wasn't bad. The wind behind it was really bad, and the rain behind it was pretty bad. It came down quick, but it dropped a lot of rain, which we're not complaining. We've had some decent rain. It came a little late, but we've had decent rain this year. More normal. Usually we're generally dry, but we get really hot during the day, and then sometime at night a thunderstorm rolls through, drops enough rain, to cool everything off, and then you repeat the cycle. And for the past couple of years, it's just been hot, dry, no rain or very little, certainly not enough to help anybody, especially those with pasture and hayfields. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I know it was kind of a basic, boring, old garden video, but a couple people were asking for a tour of my garden, and this is the tour as of June 29th, I believe. And you will see another video coming up here that has a little bit more of the goings on around the farm. I just wanted to get a video out, get another one made and scheduled so that when we're on vacation something comes out, and then I can do a bit of a vacation video. We are going to visit some family in out of province. So yeah, that is it. Thank you so much. If you liked this video, make sure that you hit the like button. If you want to see more from us, hit subscribe. If you want to see everything from us, smash that notification bell, and YouTube will let you know most of the time what we have posted. So again, thank you so much. Stay safe in this wild and crazy world that we live in. And that's all for now. Bye.